Pinchas. This past chapter, Pinchas. Yes, it's true. You people outside of Israel are still learning Balak, but we're going to catch up in Matas Masa. We're going to catch up. So we're learning about Pinchas. Who was Pinchas? Pinchas was a Jew that he stood up and killed another Jew. And he got a tremendous reward for this. What was the reward? That God made him into a Kohen, a priest. So, of course, it's not so simple. This is maybe how the news in America would make it. But what really happened over there? This Jew that he killed was really trying to destroy all the Jewish people and get them to intermarry with non-Jewish women and to leave all their moral standards, and also even to worship idols. And he did it in public to encourage everyone else to do it. And Pinchas knew he had to do something, and he saw no one else was doing anything. And he went and asked Moshe what to do. And Moshe said, it's a law that only people who are really zealous will do it, that you have to kill them. And you do it. And so he did it. He killed these people, and he held them up on the end of a pole so that everybody could see. And God said, well, listen, the fact is that if you wouldn't have done this, it would have been really tragic. As 24,000 Jews died because there was a plague that occurred to them immediately afterwards from God's displeasure. Just as a side thing, I mean, this is where they get this false idea that the God of the Jews is like this really mean God. It's really mean, and this really is punishing people all the time. And he's just, and you mess with him, you're just really messing with fire. And on the other hand, you don't get that many benefits from God. I mean, it doesn't, like the whole Bible, it doesn't say anything about going to heaven or something. So, but what really is the truth? What really is the truth? The truth of the matter is that that there is a thing in the world that's called a doctor. Sometimes a person, God forbid, he has a disease, a terrible disease. If they catch it early enough, as they can make an operation and they can, give the person radiation treatments and other very severe sort of treatments, but it catches it and it saves the person. It says the same exact thing here, is that sometimes the Jewish people, they get sick spiritually. And if you just let it go on, it'll just destroy all the Jewish people. And you can say, so what? It's a big deal. I mean, there have been nations throughout history that have been destroyed. You don't see any Abyssinians or any Babylonians walking around the streets anymore. There's no Romans. There's such a thing as the Roman people. So the nations have gone away. So what's so bad if the Jews go away? So what do you think, really? What would be so bad, really? If, Zimri, who was the one that got killed, he had his way, and everybody just said, just do whatever you want to. Just, don't hurt anybody. If two consulting adults, what do you care if the Jewish man, woman, married now or what? So you're the boss. What would be so bad if that happened? Huh? What do you think, Yonah?
If all the Jews would die.
No more Judaism.
What do I think?
Yeah, what's so bad about that? Zimri saved the Jewish people from destruction. I'm sorry, Pinchas saved the Jewish people from destruction. If this person Zimri, who was the one he killed, would have succeeded, then all of the Jews would have.
I don't know how to answer that.
Oh,
I don't know how to answer.
That's a good question. What do you think? Maybe there is no difference. Maybe we're making a big deal out of nothing. What's so important about being Jewish? Jewish people, you have to. What's so important about being? I mean, I think most Jewish people don't even have any idea what Jewish people are. What it even means. I mean, they know they're Jewish and they're proud that they're Jewish, and the non-Jews don't let them forget that they're Jewish. But what's the?
If you want to ago, my mom was in the hospital, and one of the nurses came in and looked at her. It's like, oh, you're Jewish. Thank you for noticing. Yeah, she is Jewish. Like, yeah, people don't let you forget you're Jewish.
No, they don't forget they're Jewish. And there was, like, for instance, the ideal integration and assimilation of the Jewish people was Germany right before the war. The Jews in Germany in the 20s was heaven for them. Even before, that's why one of the reasons anyway, why Reform Judaism developed in Germany. Because they wanted to be like Protestants, like the German is a Protestant nation. And they wanted to be like the Germans, we open-minded Jews. To say that we're not Jews, they didn't believe them, but so really, what's so bad about it? What's so bad about it? In a way, that was the goal of Zionism. That we'll be a nation like all the other nations, and there won't be all this Torah and mitzvahs, and we're the superior, we're chosen people. What's so bad about that, huh? What do you think? Maybe it's not so bad. Listen.
Well, because when you say, like, all these other cultures have been killed out, have been dead for who knows how long, and when you say it like that, and then you mention about Judaism, you think, oh, maybe it wouldn't be so bad, but it would, in a sense, because that would.
Why?
It was like.
Especially nowadays, you call somebody that comes from, let's say, from Syria.
I don't see it being possible either. Judaism has been the longest lasting religion ever.
Well, no, some people say that Hinduism, I think, is older.
The Romans, what happened to them? They died out.
Yeah, sure. No, but there is Hinduism, I think, they say that started in the time of Abraham. So Abraham did start Judaism, but really the Jewish people, formally Judaism began when they received the Torah, because then they got the laws. Okay, so the answer to the question is, it's the same reason why the Jews just don't seem to go away. If you take any other nation, let's say Hindus, and you take them out of India, or you put them among non-Hindus, so eventually they'll just forget about the whole thing. They're not going to go against the whole world. And here we have Jews that do go against the whole world. 1 second, hold. Where's this? 1 second. Hello. Yisrael, אני מוסר שיעור, כן. Okay. So the answer to the question is like this. Right, the Jews are an eternal. Did you turn it off? The phone call? Also. No. Let's go back. Come on.
Stop.
Yeah, no. Let's stop. Let's just continue. There's something about the Jews that's eternal. We see the Jews, they've been without a home, without a land, without a common language. Jews from Yemen don't look anything like Jews from Russia. And still, nevertheless, they hold on to this thing of being Jewish. Why? What's the reason? So one of the reasons is the Jews, always have the Torah. They always learn Torah. Okay, but then you can ask that. That's cool. The question, the answer.
There's also something to always remind you you're Jewish.
Right. The answer itself is a question. So there's always something to remind you. Jews. Why? Why is there always something to remind? Why do the Jews learn the Torah? What's the point? You go to heaven, you learn the Torah. We see. We have nice pastime. There's all sorts of pastime. You can do crossword puzzles. There's all sorts of other things, right? So the answer is the Jews are a godly people, and the Jews are coming to bring infinite meaning into the world. Infinite meaning, just like the Jews are infinite, and nothing can stop Judaism. It's an eternal religion, eternal people. Israel is an eternal country. It doesn't make any difference who says differently. And no matter what people try to do differently, Right? Like Zionism was a clear attempt to normalize Judaism. Judaism would have nothing to do with God. We're not a holy people. The Bible is not a holy book. The commandments are not holy commandments. You want to do it. Zionism brought a new thing, that the land of Israel is not holy land. Before that, there were people that said the Jews are not holy, but there was never such a thing. Israel is not a holy land. They tried to, okay, it doesn't make any difference what you try to do. The fact is, the Jews are a holy people. What does it mean, holy? It means infinite. They bring infinite, and they bring infinite meaning into the world also. They show God's infinite love. They show God's infinite care. The reason that God gave us the Torah and told us the things we should do and we shouldn't do, it's for the non-Jews also. The 7 Noahide commandments are from the Torah. Is because God loves the world. That's why Abraham broke all the idols. You ever heard that story about Abraham breaking the idols?
Yeah.
Why?
His father left the shop and
Right.
he was left alone.
Who gave him the right to do that? Let people do what they want to. But he realized, no, it's bad for people, it's bad for the world if they don't recognize there's a creator who loves them. If they don't recognize a creator that loves them, and they start to feel alone, and they start to feel empty.
When you think of idolizing something,
Huh?
When you think of an idol, though, it's kind of funny because it's like you are literally making a god.
No, it's not so clear. It's not so simple.
You're making this image of
the idols. Listen, the idols represented spiritual powers. Like people worship the Baal. The Baal was a god of the sun, so they were worshiping the sun. But instead of looking at the sun, what do you do in the nighttime? So they brought an idol into their house, and this idol, they were told by their priests that this idol represents the sun. And it makes you think of how good the sun is and how powerful the sun is, how warm the sun is, how necessary the sun is, how infinite the sun seems to be. It's the king of the sky. Then there's others that say, no, we want to worship the moon. And so they made a statue for that. Other people say we worship the stars. Other people say we want to worship pleasure. So they made up a god for them. But the gods, they weren't bowing down to the stone itself and saying, this stone, maybe there were cases that they did that also, it could be, that this stone is going to help me. But they said that the God, the power behind this stone is going to help me. The god of the sea, the god of the stars. Like we had the Greeks, they had Neptune and Jupiter and all these things.
That reminds me of something.
Yes?
Because my grandmother married a Catholic, and my grandfather was Catholic. And in her room, even when I was over at her house, when she was around, she had a cross with a yashka on it. And I can't remember how long it was ago. A few years ago, we were in a different room. We were in the kitchen or something. We heard this loud bang. We walked into her bedroom thinking something had happened. The cross fell over, and the head of Yashka had fallen off.
Well, that would be nice. What can we do? Unfortunately, it's a very popular religion. There's about 2.5 billion people that believe in this person in one way or another. The Protestants, and the Catholics, and the Roman.
My grandmother was Jewish.
Yeah, I understand. Usually, the church does not allow a Catholic man to marry a non-Catholic woman. They try to make them convert. But maybe these were Reformed Catholics. Let's go. Pinchas. So what did Pinchas do? All of a sudden, Pinchas got aroused to kill this man. Why did he do that? We're on page 53. Yeah, here, you can take this page. All right, let's do hay. So what did Pinchas do? Pinchas sacrificed himself. And this is the essence of Judaism. Because when a person sacrifices himself, and he does it for God, what does it mean? It means that he becomes a vessel for God. Like if you watch a television that doesn't work, right? So it doesn't work, what do you see? You see the television. If something's wrong with the television, the screen, what do you see? You see the screen. But if the television works, you don't notice the television, you don't notice the screen. You see the program that's on it. And then it becomes much more important just to look at how long can you look at a television? It's very uninteresting. When you look at the picture that's on it, it's very interesting. Same thing, a Jew. A Jew that's selfish, so godliness can't shine through that person. The world is a selfish world. So the world is very, very boring, very empty. The world. You have to do all sorts of crazy things in order to make it interesting. Take drugs, etc. Life, pure life itself, you don't feel it. You don't feel it. There's no happiness in life. A person doesn't feel any responsibility toward the world. Everybody's an egotist. When, though, there is no egotism, when there's no false selfishness, then what do you see? You can start to see God. What's the sign of seeing God? Feel happy. You feel happy. You feel happy you're alive. You feel happy that you can do things. You can help people. It says that's what Pinchas did. He did not think of himself at all. And he realized that what was the situation? That he had to sacrifice himself. Let's turn that off for a second. Hello?